You will have seen or heard Dillian Whyte on talkSPORT this week. He popped up on the Whyte and Jordan show, didn't he? And he was talking about the constant back and forth, it seemed, on social media. Lots of contradictory thought processes from different camps as to what direction Anthony Joshua is going in. Anthony Joshua is supposed to be fighting on August the 12th. That's the date that we keep getting told from his promoter, but we have yet to nail down an opponent. Dillian Whyte, we were told, was the front runner, but there's loads of whispers out there that maybe he was a little bit too pricey for that August 12th date. Dillian Whyte came on talkSPORT this week and said, that's not the case. I accept the deal, whatever the deal is. And Eddie Hearn, after listening to talkSPORT, has responded to that and said, OK, contract's in the post. Are you anticipating that fight to materialise in, 6-7 weeks' time?
Well, until the two men actually come at a press conference and formalise it, I have my doubts. But because clearly they were lowballing Dillian Whyte, I think that's the indication he seemed to be having. Yes, he was great on Whyte and Jordan earlier in the week. I'm glad he put his case.
Do you know what are the numbers? Do we know the numbers that were offered to Dillian? Do we know what the situation is?
Well, you and I had a chat about this before we came on, and you know, it's a big fight. It will do numbers. Joshua earns around 10 million a fight with DAZN. This is not a gold or platinum event. It's a mid-ranging event for him. It's not a world title fight. So I imagine it's around the $2 million mark, but it could be even lower.
Yeah.
You know, he hasn't looked amazing of late. He got back into winning ways against Jermaine Franklin. He's been out a while. He lost to Tyson Fury badly in April last year.
We're talking Dillian now.
And we're talking about Dillian.
Yep.
And I think, yes, obviously, because Anthony Joshua's beaten Jermaine Franklin as well, but I think he did a smart thing by coming on. I imagine with all the fighters, they all want to fight each other, but it's what their teams can get for them. So the negotiation has obviously been between his team and Eddie Hearn's team. But, you know, when you look at the options, if we believe that they are heading towards a November or December fight for Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, one we're all anticipating, and that Joshua needs to fight in the summer, and let's look where he's ranked: 3 with the WBC, 3 with the WBA, 4 with the IBF, and 2 with the WBO. He's still way up there. He's probably still the 3rd or 4th best heavyweight in the world. Does he look for an easier opponent in the summer? Lenier Pero, the number 4 WBA, who no one in the British public has probably ever heard of, apart from the boxing nuts out there. Does he fight an Otto Wallin? Does he fight an Agit Kabayel? Does he fight someone who it doesn't matter?
Why fight?
Well, because he's got to stay active, in my view. He may not end up fighting, but that we understand they've booked the O2 Arena for August the 12th, and they're looking for a fight for him.
I just think that there's
Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think he'll fight twice this year?
I think we're in a weird situation because everything the noise that comes out of Saudi Arabia kind of distorts the whole situation, doesn't it? And if the money rumours are led to be true, and we are heading in the direction of Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, they can't obviously give a concrete offer until all this summer shenanigans.
As we heard from Amir Abdullah,
the
the head of Skills Challenge last week, who runs that.
So let's say, I mean, this is heavyweight boxing. Crazy things do happen. So at the moment, there is a value on Anthony Joshua to fight in Saudi Arabia against Deontay Wilder. But will that value diminish if he, has a less than impressive performance against somebody, or indeed loses against somebody? I think it does.
Well, no, the fight is not there if he loses, in my view, or how he loses.
So why take the risk? Why do a summer fight?
But this week, the WBC are putting pressure on Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz to fight this summer as well. And the ideal thing is that Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder fight this summer. So we've got a mandatory then for the WBC, the winner of that.
Yeah, but that's for Tyson Fury.
For Tyson Fury.
So that would.
But what I'm saying is,
if Wilder comes through that's him versus Deontay Wilder 4.
Yeah.
That's not the fight that we want, though, is it?
No, but what I'm saying is that could happen later. That could even happen later. Wilder and Fury 4, which may happen if Fury wants to go on, if he beats Usyk. If he loses to Usyk, who knows what happens there? Maybe they fight again if it's a dramatic fight, a controversial fight. But Wilder, Ruiz, Fury, Joshua, Fury and Joshua need to fight this summer, in my view. Why leave it so long? Just because there's money, a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow at the end of the year. Or just say, we're going to wait for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Why shilly-shally around at the moment, saying, yeah, we're all going to have a summer fight. Fury announced something again a couple of days ago. We're waiting for an announcement next week. The people, the powers that be, I've contacted them this week, they're silent. They're silent on the other side of the pond. They're silent over here with Queensbury. There's nothing coming out. Tyson's teasing a huge announcement soon. And he doesn't ever tease for no reason. But I do think that these guys who I've mentioned are in the frame. I think Otto Wallin's floating about. Eddie Hearn said that Dimitri Salita, his promoter's been in touch, offering him. Agit Kabayel, who is, at best, a 13, 14 ranked heavyweight in the world with a couple of the sanctioning bodies. Joyce, we understand, and Zhili Zhang's going to be announced next week for September at Wembley.
There's nothing there that wows anybody, though, is it?
Arena, no. But they should all be fighting. None of them are fighting. All the other divisions are doing it at the moment. All the other divisions are usurping and outgunning and outmanning the heavyweight division and embarrassing the top 6, 7, 8 in the world at heavyweight.
At the end of the day, if you want to make a fight, you can make a fight. And it all comes down to the fighters to be able to make a fight. Dillian Whyte has got off his backside, got on talkSPORT this week, and he said what he needed to say in order to try and push a fight forward. And with all due respect, it's now been put on Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn's toes. It's on them now. Dillian Whyte has said that he's accepted it. So if you've offered him the fight and he's accepted your terms, then I'm sure the British public are going to be expecting Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte on August the 12th.
Yeah, and Eddie Hearn saying we're going back to him, which is good news. But then will they accept the terms when he comes back? He's accepted that offer, he says. He said it live on radio that I'll take the offer they gave me, even though his team have clearly said it's unacceptable, because he doesn't want to lose the opportunity. He believes he will knock Anthony Joshua out. He believes he can upset the apple cart. And he also knows, Adam, that if he does beat Joshua, he suddenly becomes a viable guy to make that journey to Saudi Arabia maybe later in the year against Deontay Wilder or someone, another.
Well, it's a Deontay Wilder, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be.
I think the only fight really in Saudi Arabia for Dillian Whyte would be a Deontay Wilder, as I honestly believe that is the only fight right now for Anthony Joshua.
And also, Joshua against Whyte is a fascinating fight.
At this stage of the career,
it's fascinating. They're both quite weather-worn. They've both got so much to prove. They both still want to be world champions. This isn't a world title fight. And in many ways, it's the championship of each other right now. It's the time for them to prove the bragging rights late in their career, in their mid-30s, that they are still the man, whether it be North London or South London. This is a vicious fight between two men who really don't like each other. And it's fireworks. And both have explosive power. Both don't like each other. They're going to stand and trade. But will Eddie Hearn, will Anthony Joshua risk all against Dillian Whyte? For me, it's probably a 50-50 fight in lots of ways for both men.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Do you think it materialises?
Well, I mean, if we believe what Eddie's said this week, and we believe Dillian that has persuaded his team that he will take that offer, and he said it publicly on radio, then I do think it will happen, yes. And it should happen.